the bishop.
And you're listening to Through Dangers Untold, a monthly art podcast about traversing the precarious gap between art school and a professional, sustainable art career. And we apologize for being late today. We're having some connection/audio issues, so we may cut out. We will try to keep things up and running, but just to let you know, that is going on. So firstly, Jess, are you working on anything this week?
So actually, the past few weeks, I've been working on a new painting for Light Gray Art Lab's new show. So that's really exciting. You can see it right now if you go to lightgrayartlab.com. It is on their front page. It's my piece. So that's pretty cool.
So awesome.
So that's what I've been doing this week. What about you?
I have been slowly working on a piece for a new series. And I am so happy I got through the drawing. So I made it through that.
The stairs.
Yeah. Spiral staircases in perspective.
Yikes.
Because I like to punish myself.
So
I'm getting ready to transfer that to watercolor paper, so I'm pretty excited that that's even gotten to that point.
That's awesome though. That's like such good practice.
Yeah, super good practice.
It's super complicated. So for the piece I just talked about, I did a little bit of perspective, like just a little bit, because it's been so long since I did an environment. Like it's been like 5 or 6 years or something crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, since I've done an environment with any sort of perspective involved.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like one little step, and I was like, oh, this is so hard.
It is. It's
one
so
point
difficult.
Woe is me.
Perspective is hard.
It's just like it's like the theory behind it is like you get it, right? Like I think everyone can get like a decent grasp of the theory, but then it's the execution that is way more difficult.
Yes, like the basics are pretty straightforward, but yeah, as soon as you start applying it, it's like, wait.
It becomes suddenly so much more complicated.
It is.
And I think like a big part of that, this is just me speculating, is that when you're working with vanishing points, typically in real life, when you see something and it looks realistic because it's in real life, your vanishing points are so out of eye level.
Yes.
Or eyesight, sorry.
Yeah,
and it just makes it so then when you're going on a piece of paper and you're trying to draw your lines, it just doesn't work. It very quickly looks incredibly wonky.
Yeah, it becomes too severe.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you used the paperclip and rubber band trick or like elastic trick?
No.
I mean, you have to use the real estate
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you have to use the real estate on your drawing table or your desk.
Yeah.
But you basically make your horizon line with like elastic, and then you put a paper clip on the edges, and then so you pick out where you fasten it on your 2 vanishing points for 2-point perspective. Right. And then you use the paper clip to find the edge, like of your block or your building.
Right.
It's a nice cheat when you need to do it quick and dirty.
There's probably like a similar kind of tool you could figure out in Photoshop.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, I know they exist. Most people must use them. But I think a lot of people now, when they're working digitally, they just make it in 3D.
Yeah, for sure.
And then just paint it over, because that automatically, makes it look pretty right.
Yeah, that's such a nice shortcut for sure.
I thought about doing that for this piece that I did, but then I definitely did not. I was like, no. Like it's just, I mean, for me, I know some people it's super easy to do it, but I think I understand how to do 3D. I get frustrated so quickly
Yeah.
because I feel like even if you're like, I was doing some recently, like following tutorials to try to brush up on it. And even when I was following tutorials, like to the T, there was still so much troubleshooting. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I hate it. I hate it. Um, but that is a skill that I think I should probably work on.
Yeah.
But, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's it all depends on what you need for your art, right?
Yeah, like, I definitely think it would make some things easier.
Yeah.
Um, like, it would have made the perspective on the piece I was doing easier, even though it was so simple. It would have made lighting easier too, because just trying to, like, think whatever, I guessed. It's fine.
Yeah, lighting
Don't
is
tell anyone.
lighting is super complicated.
It is. I started watching some more tutorial videos on lighting recently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, someone recommended to me some schoolism classes, so I was taking a look at those.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, then I've been distracted the past like 2 weeks, so I have to get back on that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's my story.
That makes sense. Definitely. um yeah. So that's kind of a good segue, honestly, because
Mhm,
um
mhm.
so the last few weeks have been super tough for a lot of us. Big name artists have been revealed to be super gross predators, and it makes making a living at art seem even more difficult than it already is. And an artist that I respect said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but don't focus on big names. Don't worry about networking. Focus on making friends and making good art. And um, that's really stayed with me through all of this, because I'm pretty frustrated with kind of the way things are. Um, and so I think it's really important to focus on those things. And kind of in honor of that, I wanted to do an episode with friends talking about making art that we love and drawing and painting the things that we love. So that is what this is about today. Um,
Yeah,
so
I think it's a good thing to talk about. Um,
yeah.
yeah, because like we've been talking about this week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I've been feeling like I've lost a lot of joy in it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many external factors going into it all the time. Like we're talking about the Me Too stuff and but even beyond that, like comparing yourself to other people, like other artists, um, and like
Yes.
m- feeling like your stuff will never be like popular or like right or like it's not your art's time or like you're not doing stuff just like everyone else and maybe that's hurting you or not hurting you and like I feel like it's so easy to get wrapped up in all these extreme thoughts, right?
Yes. Yes.
um
100%.
and especially like with social media, which is where all of this has been happening too. Like it's been really overwhelming and like I yeah, it's been really overwhelming. I know it's been overwhelming for a lot of people and like I know that the Me Too fantasy art stuff kind of bled over into games a lot, because there's some overlap there. So a lot of it started happening in games, and I'm sure maybe it bled into some other areas that I'm not seeing, because that's just not what's on my social media feeds, right?
Right.
Um, but I don't know, it's been a lot, and I'm just saying in a really long way that it's good to focus maybe today on what we want to make art of.
Yeah, definitely.
Just like rambling.
No, no, I think that's so true. I think it's really easy to get swayed by big names in the industry who say, do it this way, and this is the only way you can get in. This is the only way you can make art, or be cool, or be popular, or be successful. And,
But
and
that's
yeah, go ahead, Jess.
no, I'm sorry.
No,
Just
no, 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 no.
interjecting.
No,
I
no,
was
no, no.
just gonna say like, but that's like I think that's where a lot of the anxiety comes from because you've got these big people saying you have to do it this way. And like that's
Yeah.
where a lot of the power trips come in and a lot of like
Yes.
leading people astray or like think like you know and yeah and but it's hard to tune that out because when people that have the jobs you want and are making the things that you want to make and have the talent that you want to have are saying something it's hard to put that aside.
It really is. And especially because so many of us, I think, feel really lost.
Mhm.
So we're just kind of looking for a direction of any kind.
Yep.
Um, but honestly, they don't know. The industry can change like that. I've seen it change several times in my lifetime. And trends can change, and the way that we market and the way that we run these businesses as artists can change in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
So it's not as if they have all the answers forever. And honestly, a lot of them are taking answers from people that forged new paths. So
Mhm.
I think there's opportunity for, I mean, now here I am saying, do this, but like, whatever. I think there's opportunity for alternative ways. Let's say that. I don't want to
Yeah, and
elaborate too much because I don't want to tell anybody to do anything. You know? I mean, I do. I'm very bossy, but like I don't I don't want to say like this is the right way to do art, you know?
I think like some of the most successful people or quote unquote successful, right? People that have had experience and have jobs and are in better positions of power in arts industries are also incredibly obsessed with what they
Yes.
do.
Yes. Yes, like they spend a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them spend a lot of time. Probably yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we're
A lot of time.
significantly more I'm sorry, significantly more than 40 hours a week.
Right.
I mean, it's all consuming, and however you feel about that, like, that's fine if that's you, fine if that's not you. I think that certain industries within arts reward that kind of productivity, and when they see that kind of productivity, they don't want people that aren't that way,
Yes.
if that makes sense.
It
Like
makes yes, it makes total sense. I mean, like any American corporation or institution to make money, you know, that's the bottom line. That is the ultimate goal,
mhm.
regardless of how it hurts people.
Yep.
I have feelings about this right now.
And, like, I think the people out there, not all of them, but a lot of people that are so obsessed, like, I think a lot of them would love to be less obsessed.
Yeah,
But I think there's so much pressure also to make money that they don't feel like there's another way
right. Right.
sometimes.
Totally. Yeah. So, now that we've ranted, what kind of art do you love to make, Jess? Like what things? What things do you love to paint or draw?
Slugs.
Obvious slugs. They're the best. What
It's
about
something about
slugs?
that, like, translucent goopy shit, I mean,
Yeah.
stuff. Um
Yeah.
It I'm not even gonna say that, like, I'm great at painting that texture, but I just find it, like, fun. I think it's just kind of cool. Um, so I really like slugs, but I really like nature, like, I think the past few months have also been super uninspired because, I'm not in Seattle anymore, and when I was, I at one point I was going out every weekend into the woods, not like deep into the woods, but going out there, taking pictures, looking
Yeah.
at little bugs and flowers, and like to me that was something that always got me like going, right?
Yeah.
I would
That makes
find
sense.
things that I'd be like, oh, I want to paint this, or this reminds me of this, or it kept the creative juices flowing without me actually being painting, right? Um,
Yeah.
but I've always been like that with stuff. You know, Sometimes so when I'm not doing that, I'll like make a ton of Pinterest boards of just images that I like
Mhm.
and things that I want to paint. And I think a lot of it, I think if you can just go look at my work, you can pretty much see what I like to paint. I like girls. I like slugs. I have a thing for deer too. I don't really know how to explain that one other than I grew up surrounded by deer where I lived when I was a kid.
Awesome.
Um, yeah, I like nature stuff like that. But then I also like space. It doesn't quite fit, but that's
Nature
why
and
I put sparkles
space.
on everything.
It's
Um,
wonderful though. I love that.
I like it too. I have fun with it. And people always give me crap because they're like, your colors are too saturated. I'm like, I know.
That's the point.
Like, I know they're too saturated, okay? But I just am trying to have fun.
That's the
You
point.
know?
Yeah. Sparkles are great.
I think they are too. Like when I print my pieces out, I sneak sparkles into them because like there are other artists out there that do it and they just do it because they like sparkles, and like I think they're fun, and I think there's a market of people that enjoy sparkles and bright colors and oversaturation. And I think that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is that a lot of like, you're talking about corporate work or something, they're just not as interested in that. And for whatever reason, because that's just not the trend right now, right? But
Mhm.
I still think there's like an undercurrent of that in trends, like of people that are interested in that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I like
Yeah.
mixing all that together, and I have fun doing that a lot. And I like portraiture.
Nice.
Um, yeah, those are things I like.
The
What do you like?
that I think that's changing though. I think people are sick of the desaturated look, and that trend is shifting to more saturated work. So, like, that's exciting.
Oh no, probably. I just whatever. Like that's my take on it at this point. Like
That's
I
probably the
think I
best.
I think I talked to someone recently and they explained to me, I forget what it's called, but basically I think it was like the tones of my colors and stuff, and just how to make it look more make the saturated colors look more realistic
Mhm.
with the lighting, which was actually like a good point because they didn't tell me to stop with my colors, but they gave me a tip on a way to make it look different that I thought was not bad advice.
Cool.
Um, that I am going to investigate, but no one can
Yeah.
stop my colors.
Yeah, that's
I wear
fine.
like I only wear gray clothes. Okay, I
Uh,
my hair is black, my shirts are black, my pants are black, and I have some gray shirts and pants too. And my shoes are black, and I have gray sneakers. Anyway, you get the point.
Yes.
I
All the
like to throw
colors
a
in your
little
work.
bit I like to yeah, I like to throw some color in there somewhere, and it just comes out in my work because that's what I want.
Yeah.
So,
That makes sense.
okay. What do you like?
Cabochons.
Yes,
I love to paint cabochons.
I think that's very valid.
They're so fun. They are
I think
round.
I think you need to explain them though.
Okay, so like cabochons are uncut gemstones. Like in medieval era when they used to just set them in kind of like a little um gold pocket on illuminated books.
And they
And
were polished, right?
they were polished, yeah. They're polished, but they're uncut gemstones or semi-precious stones. And early on in my going through internet tutorial days of Photoshop, there was someone who did a very fun cabochon tutorial where it talked about the light going through the glass or the gem. And so it gets a little pinpoint of glow on one side. And that just blew my mind. I was like, wow. And then
Wow.
and then, yeah, exactly. And then you're like, oh, I get a little bit of glow and it's colorful on the ground. What? I love stuff like that. It's the same reason I
Totally
love,
get that.
yeah, like glowing potion bottles. Come on. Same kind of thing.
That's like the best use of Photoshop though, because you can do that pretty quick. At
You
least
can.
quicker than like in traditional media. I mean, you can do it in traditional media, it just like it takes a lot more effort.
It does, but I love how watercolor makes it look. It's really cool.
Watercolor, I could see, like, I mean, I know like literally nothing about watercolor, but I could see where you could get that similar effect for sure.
The only thing where I regret it is you can't get those ultra saturated glowy colors like you do when light is shining through pixels, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
When it's on paper, it's always going to be duller than that. So,
yeah, which is why I don't care about not printing my art out.
yeah, for sure. You don't get that same glow effect, though you can. Yeah, it's really a lot harder with the pigments also that you use for watercolor.
So
yeah, go ahead.
Sidebar real quick.
Yeah.
One time at a show, I don't remember who the artist was, but it was genius. They had prints of their work, but they brought backlights for their work. So it kind of looked like they were on a computer screen. Like they were like light boxes or whatever they were sitting on. So I was like, you're a genius.
Smart.
Like I've thought about doing that in the future. Like that is just, yeah, it was a good call. Because it looked great and like it was super eye-catching because he even had one or two of the boxes like upright so that you could see it from far away. Genius.
That's awesome.
I wish I remember who that was because their art was pretty good, but I don't remember.
Yeah, that's so smart. Yeah. So yeah, I like to paint glowy glass gem things where there's a little bit of bloom, soft bloom. So that works really well with watercolor because you do wet on wet. And then, yeah, I don't know. I just, it's so fun. Oh, what else? I love to paint scales. There's something about, and draw them actually. There's something about the repetitive pattern of those that I find extremely soothing.
You would.
I have issues.
I'm like, oh my god.
It's super soothing.
Like, 'cause every time like I go into Photoshop to try to make like something repetitive like that, I just always think about like how I wish I was just doing an oil painting instead because I could just go splotch, splotch. But then, like, when I'm doing it in Photoshop, I'm always like, oh, I have to make everything, like, sharp, you know, and, like, rendered properly and, like, not splotchy, not painterly. Because I also used to get a lot of crap for that. Like, why is your stuff so painterly? I'm like, I don't know, because I used to oil paint. Anyway.
Oh, man.
I'm just being salty tonight, I guess.
I guess. That makes sense, though.
Yeah. Scales.
There's something, though, about the metallic iridescence of scales that is also super fun. Because I like to paint reflective surfaces. So I also like to really paint swords. Because again, you can get that nice soft bloom. It's that contrast with the very soft bloom of that watercolor with hard edges.
Mm.
It's a really nice way to get really soft, like a gradient shine. That's so appealing to me. I
Yeah,
love that.
I understand that. Yeah, yeah, I can totally see that.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like, ooh, that's just satisfying.
That's like me with like stars and planets and stuff too, though. And I'm
Mm.
like, here's the planet, but then here's the glow.
Yay!
Yeah, I think it's kind of similar. It's fun.
So, is it just the glow you like to paint about the planet? Is it like swirls? What is it about more?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the glow is definitely part of it. Like anything with the glow, I'm just like, glow. We just so fun.
Definitely. Glows are
Um,
great forever.
I think my thing with like planets and stars and stuff though is like it's just something that is really interesting to me. I
Yeah.
just I just like it. Like I like a lot of fantasy stuff and like but I don't like a lot of sci-fi. Like I'm fine with sci-fi. I like horror sci-fi,
Mm-hmm.
but like hard science fiction has just never super been my cup of tea for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm just like too into aliens and like alien conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. But something about putting stars and planets into things is really romantic to me. Um,
Yes.
and I just like thinking about it, I guess. I don't think I can articulate this very well.
No, that makes sense. I think
Also, it's
that's
fun.
cool. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Mm.
I also really like to paint hair. Hair
Another
is
super detailed thing.
not necessarily. Hair is shapes.
I guess so.
It has
I have I
yeah, go
struggle
ahead.
with it.
Really?
That's all I was gonna say. Yeah, I do.
Oh, I'm surprised by that.
I Yeah, I don't it's just for some reason a struggle. Like when I was younger, I really liked to do it, but now that's I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an explanation for that.
Hmm.
Keep going. I'm sorry.
Well, it always looks good when you paint it. So,
Thank you. Thank you. I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Um I like hair because you can use it as a compositional direction line.
As you can. That is such a good point.
I love it. I'm like, swirls? Are there swirls? Because I like swirls. So there's some swirls.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it also creates movement. It can be
Mhm.
emotional the way it's moving. Um, but it's also fun because, again, you get those gradients. You get that layer
Yes.
of gradients, and that's super fun. So.
Uh-huh, for sure. Excuse me.
No,
Sorry.
no worries.
I always end up like drawing hair and then like it'll either be like I don't know why, like stick straight. I think because that's my hair.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always style my hair to be like 90s grunge stick straight.
Yeah.
Um or I'll do triangle hair. Which
Triangle
goes
hair.
back to what you were saying about using it as a like direction line.
Mm.
Like
Yes.
triangle. uh, but yeah, I just make it an animal head and then they don't have hair.
That works too. That's totally valid.
What else?
Uh,
Keep going. I'm
oh, okay.
learning.
Okay, what? Feathers and wings. Mm.
I wish you could see my face.
Are you making a yuck face?
Just like I made like a it's just like Jesus. It's just like all the most complicated. I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised. I should not be surprised by this.
I love learning new things. Uh,
That's great. That's really great.
but honestly, also like all these things are literally though they're just things I love, like feathers and wings and scales and cabochons and swords, and these are all like personal symbols. You know.
That's true. That's true. They're all just significantly more complicated than me being like round planet.
Planets are hard. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, okay. Wings are super hard. Wings, feathers, scales, hair, like those detail things are super difficult. At least for me. They
Yeah,
take like way more patience and concentration than I can like give most of the time.
yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure. But I think the translucent, that beautiful, wonderful jelly translucent quality that you get with your slugs, like I don't know how to do that.
I appreciate that because I often feel like I'm not quite getting the texture right. But I think this goes back to a different point that actually we haven't made yet today. But I think the only reason that I can do that is because I kid you not, I think I have thousands of photos of slugs that I've taken, like just on my computer
That's
from
awesome.
slugs in the woods because I'm just
Nice.
obsessed. I just go out there and like talk to them. Like, hello. And then
Oh,
they model for me. I'm like, you're
oh.
such a good model. And then I'm like the crazy person in the woods taking pictures of slugs, and people are like, what are you taking a picture of? And like you get like a wide variety of interest. One day, this older woman stopped me and I told her all about slugs. And I was like, they come in all different colors and blah. And she was like fascinated. She's like, I had no idea. And I'm like, now you do.
You're
And
like
other
spreading the
people are
word.
just like, ew. So it's kind of interesting people's reactions.
Yeah. That's awesome though. Now I'm imagining you being like a slug ranger.
Yeah, I've seriously considered being a park ranger. I mean, I wouldn't do it because I don't think I'm meant to be a park ranger, but like then I could just hang out with the slugs.
That would be so awesome. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I would always get really stressed out on the trails because sometimes the slugs, like if it was moist out, like they would just be going in the middle of the trail.
Oh, geez.
And then like I would get really stressed out because people step on them and like a lot of the trails you would just see dead squish slugs everywhere
Oh no.
because people aren't looking down
Yeah.
and they don't think about it.
Well,
So that was always traumatic.
yeah, understandably.
But yeah, it happens. There are a lot of slugs. Um, but yeah, but also like you can't like go and pick up every slug and try to save it, especially since it's really not good for them to pick them up.
Oh, yeah.
Like you shouldn't really do it. Like imagine if like you got picked up by this thing and like slugs are so like moist and slimy and they need so much water. Like it's just not good to handle them. Plus, like if you've ever gotten slimed by a slug, it is awful.
Oh no.
I remember one time I picked up a slug because I was a jerk and it was like in the yard and it slimed me. And I go into the bathroom and I cannot get this slime off. Like it took forever.
Oh no.
And Gray comes into the room and he's just like, "Did we learn a lesson today?" And I'm like, "Yes." Yes, we
Oh
did learn a lesson.
no. Oh
Like,
no.
cause that like and that wasn't even a banana slug, that was a regular, garden slug, but the garden slugs get really big in Seattle, in the Washington area.
Oh yeah,
Well,
I bet.
I guess they're not garden slugs, they're like brown slugs or whatever, but they get really big. Um, so, yeah. But a banana slug would've been so much worse.
Oh no.
They're so sticky.
Ooh.
It's insane. It's insane. It's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
Okay, you got me on slugs.
No, I love it. I love it. This is what we love. This is what we want to paint.
Yeah, I've actually got like a whole book about banana slugs.
Nice.
And then I got started getting into sea slugs because I found a sea slug one day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I found a sea slug on the beach. Well, actually, I think Gray found it and showed it to me, but close enough. It was on
Eh.
the underside of a rock.
Ooh,
Um,
cool.
because I would go to the beaches at low tide to go looking, because there's so many anemones everywhere, and they're really cool. I
Awesome.
didn't really have a great camera or like good like photography skills to get good pictures of anemones, because they're really ugly when they're curled up.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really pretty until they're underwater. And it's hard to take pictures of things that are underwater when you're not underwater.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, like with all the reflection. I know some people could do it. I am not one of those people because I just like don't have the knowledge to do it. Um, but yeah. So, but yeah, that all goes back to I even did sea slug fan art at one point because I just I just like them. I think a lot of sea creatures have that translucent quality to them as well,
Yes, that's really true.
um, which I just find fascinating.
Oh, yeah. So beautiful.
Yeah, and they're very saturated in color.
That's true.
Just pointing that out.
That is very true. Oh, so cool. Do you think you'll do well? I don't know. Whatever. I'm not gonna pressure. You can do whatever you want. Um, but
I think
I love all that
I'm sure
translucent stuff.
I'm sure I'll do more at some point. I think I do want to do more. Like I was thinking about it today, because we've been talking about my bear game a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I've necessarily am at a point where I'm going to be working on the game itself
Mm-hmm.
as much as I think maybe I was kind of toying with the idea of maybe just making art, like not
Yeah.
even game art, just like art about it. I don't know,
Yeah.
just
To-
for funsies, whatever.
totally. That
Which
sounds
would
great.
be like more animal art and stuff, and which is still just kind of fun. You know,
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
they're all woodsy animals.
That sounds wonderful.
I think so.
uh, animals are hard.
So, what else is going to be, if you don't mind sharing, what else is going to be in your painting with stairs?
I'm gonna keep it a secret.
Okay. Okay. Cool. That's fine.
It's just evolving the way it's evolving. When it's gonna happen, it will happen.
Okay.
I'm super stressed if you can't tell from everything, dear listeners and everyone. So I'm just trying to take it easy. But yes, so you do know that there are stairs in it. Yep.
I think it's fair that you're stressed.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, all of us. Yeah. Totally allowed.
It's hard
Uh,
too because like it's been a few months without like going outside.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it makes it harder for sure.
And like I know we can go outside technically, but like for someone like me, and I know you too, there it's very stressful because we can't really afford to get sick.
Yep. No health
And
care. Yep, 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 yep.
yeah, and there's other medical conditions sometimes that people have that just don't make it okay to get sick.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's that whole thing is very stressful for me, and like I don't want my family to get sick, like
Yeah.
I so it gives me a lot of anxiety to think about like going out and dealing with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's understandable. Um Yeah, we keep it to a minimum. We do grocery shopping every week because we don't have a car. So,
Hmm.
like getting things like milk and stuff for your cereal, it's like you kind of have to go.
Yeah.
So we do that. And actually, lately we bought some really nice masks from one of our friends, and another friend was so sweet and sent us a bunch too. Um, so we have a like a good supply of masks now.
Hmm.
So that makes it easier. So we've been trying to go on like walks. We'll wear our masks still, and we try to do the social distancing too. But just to try and get out a little bit to get a walk.
Good because it's tough. Like it gets stir crazy. Like I
Yeah, yeah,
feel
yeah,
lucky that right now I'm living in a place where, I there's a yard.
yeah.
So I can go, I take Scully outside and let him play.
Nice.
And like but that's getting out of the house, right? Like even though you're not going anywhere, like I get to walk outside and
Yeah.
oh, there's other people alive out here, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like go out and yeah, exactly. Get some fresh air.
Yeah. And just see the sun and get on your
Yeah,
feet for a little bit.
exactly. That's really good.
Yeah, Scully's been that's he's been good at making me get out because obviously he has to go to the bathroom because he's a dog.
Yes, that's very important.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah. So, more things that make me happy when I paint or draw them. What else? Um, I really like flowing fabric
Mhm.
because again, that can serve as a as movement and more composition lines. And there's something about that the again that repeated pattern of like a fold that goes out and then a fold that goes in, you know.
Yeah.
I find that so satisfying.
Yeah, that makes sense, and I don't know if this quite applies, but there's also some gradients in that, it's like
Yeah, that soft gradient.
yep.
Yep.
So
I
that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm still learning how to do that very well because of the different weight of fabrics, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that can be super fun too. Hmm.
Fabrics are also very complicated. It's something that I wanna get better at but it's a good point, like, depending on the material, it looks different and you have to paint it differently.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm always
It's very
really
technical.
I'm always really impressed with people who are really good at costume design and character design.
Yeah. I've seen some
It's
good fabric stuff.
so cool.
Yeah, like, that's good stuff,
Yeah. I don't
'cause
know
it
if
makes a
it's
difference.
Yeah, it really does. And I don't know if I'm that great at it, but it's something that I really admire, you know? So,
Makes sense.
yeah. It's fun to keep trying.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's such a good outlook on it too, though, because I think, like, at least for me, and I know a lot of people, you get so frustrated so quickly sometimes when you just, like, can't make something look right, but, like, just having the attitude of, like, "It's nice to keep trying." Like, that's such a good attitude.
Thank you. That's like everything. Because I'm like, I'm sure like a lot of artists, I'm like, I suck. I'm terrible. I'm just going to keep practicing. Okay.
But I think that's where a lot of people get frustrated and drop off is they don't wanna keep practicing.
Yeah. I learned how to practice pretty late in life because when I was younger, I just thought everything had to be perfect. So,
Yeah, that's hard, like, I think a lot of people are brought up that way as kids.
yeah.
Like, I had a really hard time with that until I think I got my first B.
Oh, wow.
And then I then it got a little easier for me after that. I was pretty young though,
I'm
and I kind
glad.
of got over that um,
That's good.
in some ways.
Uh, yeah, shout out to my figure drawing teacher. I probably talked about him before, but he taught me how to practice in college. I didn't get it
Like
before.
when we went
Yeah.
to college,
Yes. I did not. I
really?
thought, yes, it took me that long. I thought, oh, you had to have a perfect sketchbook filled with perfect drawings and only finished
No.
drawings. I did not know how to practice. So,
Well, that's good though
yeah.
that you were able to take that away. I had an okay figure drawing teacher. I know I've talked about mine before because he told me my foot that I drew looked like a shit potato,
Yes,
but
I
it was
love
really
that.
good advice
That's so good.
because it did look like a shit potato.
I love it.
Um, I mean, his point was, he's like, I know looking at this that that's probably exactly what the foot looked like, but as an artist, it's also your responsibility to translate. I'm
Yes.
paraphrasing, but
Yes.
I thought it was such a good point. I was like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Like, I should have made it not look like that because it gets it would be confusing for the viewer. Something because sometimes it's not confusing when you look at something in real life, but when you translate it to paper, it gets confusing for a viewer.
Yes. That's really true.
That's
Yeah.
on figuring out how to use reference.
Yay, reference. So here's a
Uh,
question. So for portraits, what is it about portraits that you love to paint?
I have no idea. Um, I don't know. I did like okay. So when I was in high school, I did my entire uh I I'm trying to remember. I think it was my senior year portfolio. I think it was all portraits of
Nice.
of friends I knew at school intermixed with, oh my god. I wish I gotta find like my essay I wrote or whatever for that portfolio. Because thinking back on it, I'm like, wow, I really haven't changed whatsoever. It was like a juxtaposition between women and nature or something.
Nice.
Uh, so I've just always like doing portraits. I even had like a phase at one point when I was like before that, where I was like exclusively drawing old men
Oh
because I liked
wow.
their wrinkles.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I did a lot of different portraits when I was younger, and like I think now I've gotten more interested. Like I like doing portraits of like cute girls and stuff.
Mhm.
Obviously because who doesn't? But I think I also like doing portraits of like creature type things too. I
Yeah.
think just because I I I don't know. Maybe there's some psychological reason or something that I like to focus on faces, if whether it's faces of people or faces of animals or insects or whatever. Um,
Mhm.
I just think there's something I really intriguing. I think well, thinking back, okay, we're going on a deep dive here. I always really liked eyes because they were glossy.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think like that kind of like was a lot of it. And I think also like when you're younger, you think like the mark of a good artist is if you could draw a face.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that
Because there
makes
was so
sense.
much focus when I was like younger on like faces and like even like consuming media as a kid. I'm getting real deep here. You see all the makeup ads. I read so many teen magazines, and you're just constantly inundated with perfect faces.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's where maybe a lot of that came from, and like also maybe why as I got older I started doing more animal portraits and stuff too. Like I still do the pretty face thing because I think it's so ingrained in my brain from a young age.
Mhm.
Um, but I think there's a lot of the similar qualities that I like in painting pretty women. you can
Mm-hmm.
find in something like one of the pieces I'm thinking of is the one that I did of that mantis.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and I think there's so many similar, like I like how you can do the same thing and get the same kind of effect, but with an animal. I don't know.
Yes. Yes, that makes sense.
Because I think she's pretty.
Oh
And when I
yeah.
posted her on Twitter last time, I got some people like someone called her their waifu or something. And I was like, all right, I guess.
Interesting.
I was like, whatever floats your boat, kid. Um, but I guess it kind of proves my point of like it's the same kind of thing. It can evoke a similar kind of emotion.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but those are my thoughts on that.
I like it. Um, I'm always impressed with your ability to draw and paint animals and creatures and insects because I find them so difficult. My proportions are, I'm still working on those. I'm like, that's
They
not right.
they are difficult. I think it is easier when because I do a lot of mixing of the human features with the animal features,
Hmm.
which suddenly makes things easier, like
Interesting.
on a subconscious level.
Huh.
Because if you're just doing like an animal head, there's like 1,000 references for that,
Hmm.
right? That you can just easily get because people also love photographing like animal heads.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, and I so with the right reference, it's totally fine. Um, but yeah, so I think that makes it easier. But thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that. Um, but you've done a lot of portraits too. Like and
Yes.
you used to do a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
You
I
did a
did.
whole series.
I did. And I've always loved drawing faces for sure. Like you said, the same thing with the eyes. I've always loved drawing eyes. Again, they're like cabochons, right?
Yes, yes,
Very
exactly.
similar. And yeah, probably the same reasons you talked about, Jess. Also very inundated with beautiful faces and coloring books and cartoons and in the 80s especially
Hmm.
and then anime hit of course and it was like wow.
Yeah,
um
a lot of that too.
so that's yeah, that's an influence and but yeah, I don't know, definitely I've always enjoyed that. I think also because so much emotion is expressed through the face.
Mm.
And depending on how you draw the face, even just changing the subtlest features, you can create um, some interesting, very subtle emotions.
Yeah,
And I love that. It's like, oh, I changed the very tip of the eye, and now suddenly something feels different, you know?
yeah, yeah. And sometimes it's not even on purpose, and it's just suddenly it looks right, and
Yeah.
it portraiture is very interesting. It's very emotional.
Yeah.
I think for maybe I don't know if I feel emotional necessarily like doing it, but I think for a viewer it can be more emotional than something because the way you can connect with a face, whether it's even though it's a fake face, right?
Yes.
Um, I think there's something to be said for that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I was thinking it would be really cool to look up some, like a bunch of professional portrait photographers and study them in like master studies, not for selling, but just for
Right.
practice and
Yeah.
just to see how they compose and how they pose the person and how they capture people, you know. Because I feel like, again, I feel like I can always improve on everything. So I'm always wondering, like, how do you, and I also wonder how things work always. So how do
That's actually
you
a good
capture?
idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a fun study set.
Yeah, I think there would definitely be a lot to learn from photographers, especially portrait photographers that are just they know how to do that and they know how to get an emotion
Yes.
just with lighting and color and words. Um, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, just trying to capture that person. How do they do it? And I'm sure different people do it different ways, but yeah. So, yeah, faces are fun.
I'm gonna have to look up some more face photography.
Yeah. But also same like with body language and like posture and like oh, I want to get better at that too, but it's something like when like doing figure drawing and stuff when you can get that nice gesture line, it's so satisfying.
Yeah, I miss figure drawing.
Yeah, me too.
Like something I struggle with a lot because I think I like doing portraiture so much is getting movement into my pieces.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and that's something that can be difficult for me. Um, but I think it's super important because when you can get even like a little bit of movement or like the illusion of a little bit of movement, I
Mhm.
think it can make a piece more powerful. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think it
Not
depends.
necessarily,
I think
but
it depends on the type of artist you are. Like I
yeah,
think I think stillness can be fine. I think movement gets pushed again
it
because of
does. It does.
because a lot of it is going through like concept art and movie art and blah 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 blah, comics and blah, which is fine. That's fine, but like, it doesn't have to be that way.
I So I'm also thinking of another reason why I really like portraiture, and I've always been super into like Victorian portraits.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Just like those, just really not even before Victorian. I'm kind of um not thinking clearly about my art history right now, but like Bouguereau paintings.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
I love those. I love like the pristine glowing skin and there's some movement in there, but there's not that much. And I just love the portraiture aspect and just how much focus is put into like the fabric and the skin I love that. I think it's
Yeah,
so great.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, his lighting and the skin is just
Like
excellent.
the stuff kind of feels like it glows sometimes.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
I'm still so mad I missed the exhibit at the Milwaukee Art Museum.
Yeah, I know
Ugh.
I didn't get to go either.
Like, that would be really cool. That would've been cool.
It would have been.
Um, like, being able to see some of that in person and, like, not to be, like, a total snob about it, but, like, seeing paintings in person, um, can make a big difference.
Oh yeah.
I love going up to paintings and looking at the brushstrokes and looking at
Yeah.
how thick, different parts of the paint are, like, on the canvas.
Yeah.
Um,
I love that too.
it's so interesting.
It
Um,
is. It is so beautiful.
yeah, I love that, a lot of the things they're doing in museums now too is they're X-raying paintings too. I
Mhm.
just think that's so cool. They're like, "Look what they had underneath," and I'm like, "They didn't want you to see that, but it's also really cool."
They're like,
Uh,
I covered that. Excuse me. That's my
yeah, like,
mistake.
I just imagine people, like, slowly going through my PSD files and, like, unclipping the layers. I'm like, "No, no, no." Don't go
Exactly.
down there.
Please don't look at that scribble and that erase and that scribble.
Like,
Don't look at
don't, don't.
that. I know I've erased it 5 times. Shut up.
I do think it's really funny when people attribute like old paintings underneath new paintings as like some sort of deep mystery half the time. I'm like, I don't think there's much of a mystery here. I think they
Yeah.
just thought it sucked. You know?
Yeah. They're like, nope, not doing it.
I'm like, oh no, that's bad. Cover it up.
Start again.
Redo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I think sure, maybe sometimes there could be some historical reason why they had to change something, like someone didn't like something, so they had to fix it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't think there's any alien stuff. Like when they go on Ancient Aliens and they like pick a random spot on the painting and then do a mirror flip. And
Oh
they're like, look, it's an
no.
alien. And they're like, look, it's an alien. And I'm like, it is an alien, but I could probably do that with my painting. Love it.
That's
I love that
so
stuff.
funny. Like, okay.
It is so funny. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the effort, honestly. I love Ancient Aliens. Just putting that out there, obviously. I think you could maybe tell because I love space and aliens and Atlantis and dolphins. And I associate dolphins with space travel.
Because of
Okay, I'm going off the rails now.
I was gonna say, is that because of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Partly. I think it's also Echo the Dolphin,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know if you've ever heard of FinFin.
No,
It
no.
was a virtual pet for PC,
Uh-huh.
and like he had a little game and stuff, and he had a microphone and a whistle, and you could whistle at him through your
Aw.
computer. And he lived on the magic planet Tio. And he was a bird dolphin hybrid.
That's
I will
amazing.
have to show him to you because it's pretty amazing.
Excellent.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff from like childhood where I'm just like, dolphins are intelligent and they can travel in space.
Sure, why not?
That's probably wild, but
No, I love it. I think it's great.
there's a lot of sci-fi books with that in it too.
Oh, definitely. David Brin, he has a whole trilogy with
Is
that.
that the oh, shit, what was it called? Star Tide Rising?
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. My
You
dad's been
read
trying to get
it.
me to read that for years. I have not read it. He's been
Oh,
like, "You love dolphins in space. Read this book."
you'd probably like it.
I know. He's like, "Dolphins, space. They're evil."
Well, maybe now's the time.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Well, on that note, we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming along this spacey journey and cabochon-filled journey of Through Dangers Untold. Our logo was created by Karen Hodo, and she has a new website at karenhodo.com. And you can find me at sonnettshline.com. I'm taking a break from social media, but I should be back. I'll be back eventually. Jess, where can they find you?
You can find me at my website, which is jessicarubishop.com, which is my first name, and then my initials and my last name. And you can also find me on Instagram and Twitter at jrubishop.com. I mean, not .com, at jrubishop. That's
Yes.
okay.
Yes, it's good. Join us on August 12th for our next discussion. And thank you so much for listening. And take good care of each other. And we will see you next month.